like to welcome everybody. My name is Michael Gonzalez, and my wife Jenna Lee is on. Also, we'll be doing this in two parts. In the world of network marketing, I have never, in 40 years, and Jenny can attest to this, we have never known a company that the biggest growth month is December, or the month, or after New Year's. Usually, what happens is that everybody takes the time off. They spend it with family. They're vacationing, whatever. This month, although we've already had over 1,000% growth in this business this year, this month is going to be the biggest month the company ever had. We've known Mike a lot of years. I tell people this, I just want to prove to you that we know him. We were in a network marketing company. This was the very early 80s when Mike actually and Nada qualified for the very first convention in San Francisco with this company. And here they are. We're looking for as entrepreneurs. And for those of you who follow Gary Larson, I mean, I've followed him forever. In the far side, this is my favorite entrepreneur statement right here, okay? This caveman's making the wheel out of stone, and this caveman is already ahead of the game, and he's making a parking meter. Guys, we're ahead of the game here, and I want to tell you why as we go through this presentation. Now, the Vollara Oppertunity is unique on several levels, and I mean that simply in the structure of being a business whose time has come. In this opportunity, we have a CEO. Many of you have met him. Many of you met him last night. And the one thing that we feel comfortable about with Joe is that he comes from the whole background in his business of direct sales, whether it be in vacuum cleaners or other direct sales. So he understands our needs. He understands how to support us, and he's upgrading stuff very quickly. He's been in Air Pure Technologies LLC. He's 25 years in direct sales. Headquarters is in Dallas. And this is our 500,000 square foot manufacturing plant in Bristol, Virginia. And they just bought more land to build more buildings because he's trying to stay up with the supply chain. But we have somebody, as you know, last night, who's been in our camp, and he's here to support us in things that we need. Now, COVID has there just is a new normal that's come out of left field, and it's sort of a gut-wrenching blow that all of us have taken. Things were sort of pretty good up until March, when the COVID tsunami hit. But since then, we have a new normal, and this new normal isn't normal, but it's something we're going to have to adjust to. And people are beginning to understand how dangerous indoor air quality is. Okay, we spend 90% of our time indoor. Whether you're indoors, you go to a restaurant, you go to a spa, you go to you're in your car, you go to an office. We are indoors and we're locked in. And anything that the sun does outside, we really can't have done. It isn't done inside. We breathe 300 gallons of air a day. And just think in your home how stuff outgasses. Look under your sink, look in the closets, look in the bathroom, and all of those cleaning products that you have, that stuff that's outgassing, you breathe all day long. Water droplets can hang in the air for 10 minutes. And now with COVID and the way it spread, people are really nervous about everything they're beginning to learn about indoor air quality. And that when you sneeze, the droplets can go 25 feet. But more importantly, people are beginning to dig down and find out that viruses can remain infectious for 4 days in the air, for 24 to 48 hours on surfaces, a month in refrigerators, 8 to 12 hours on clothes and tissue paper, 4 days in water, banisters and knobs, 7 to 8 hours. I mean, every time I open a door, I always pull my shirt up and grab it like this, or I don't want to touch it. People are just really concerned, and in this new normal, which caught everybody so flat-footed, they really don't know what to do. I mean, there are companies out there selling products that literally snake oil, literally things that have no research behind them. They'll sell a sanitizer for surfaces that last until the next person touches it. Then some of them say it lasts 30 days, but they have absolutely no research to back it up. Here's what we start, here's what makes us different, and here's what makes Joe Urso the kind of CEO, if you're in the world network marketing, the kind of CEO you want in your corner. This test that came out, that was announced, the breaking news by Urso was 99.96% actually reduction of airborne surfaces, airborne SARS-CoV-2 virus in 3 minutes. What does that mean for us? So we're going to talk about this throughout this entire presentation. SARS-CoV-2, memorize that. SARS-CoV-2 is a pathogen that infects you. That's what is the danger that's out there. So who has a technology that can deal with that? And I'm going to show you a chart by the CDC. Right now, we're the player on the block. We're the people that have the answer to what's going on out there. We really do. This SARS testing, if you read down here, CoV test, was conducted by one of the world's top biosafety testing labs at the University of Texas medical branch, which primarily tests for the U.S. military and Centers for Disease Control. This and following strict FDA protocols. This test that was conducted at that university was done in a class 4 lab. What that means is that they used a live pathogen. They didn't use a surrogate. They didn't use something else. They used a live pathogen. In a stage 4 lab is when that pathogen is released in that environment, in that room where they're doing the testing. If anyone in that room is infected, they can get seriously ill, or the disease could be fatal. That's the quality of testing that our technology, the Active Pure testing, has gone through. So with that, it went from 0 in 3 minutes to 99.6% kill rate. Guys, there is nobody in the market today that has this technology and can prove this to people. They did a 7-hour study on SARS-CoV-2 reduction with the same technology on surfaces. Okay, in 7 hours, it went to 99.98%. As long as you have your Air and Surface Pro running with the Active Pure technology, you are safe. It's the safest environment that you can possibly be in. Now, the CDC has come up with what they call a hierarchy of control of indoor environment. So the idea behind this hierarchy is that the control method at the top, up here the blue, are potentially more effective and protected than those at the bottom. And following the hierarchy normally leads to the implementation of inherently safer systems where the risk of illness to injury has been substantially reduced. Look at elimination. Let me ask you a question. Who on the market do you know has scientific information that eliminates SARS in 3 minutes, 99.6% in the air, and 99.98% on surfaces? Who else can do that? So we physically reduce the hazard, and we have the science that proves that. Now, when you're in business, is there anything better than having a team of scientists with a brain trust working for us to make certain that what we tell people is the truth, because all we're doing is letting the science speak for us. This is the first business we've been in, all of us may have been in, where you're literally educating people on the truth, because so many people don't know where to turn. So substitution, you replace the hazard. Do we replace the hazard? We replace the hazard with the purest air on earth and safest air in a 3,000 square foot environment. Again, now that's 2. Isolate people from the hazard. Well, hey, we're in a home-based business, but as long as you have people in that bubble of 3,000 square feet, you've isolated them. That doesn't mean you shouldn't, if it makes you feel good, you should do it, sanitize your hands, but most assuredly, wear a mask. Those are just enhancements to this technology. Change the way people work. People work at home. People work in isolation. People are socially distanced in their jobs. People in restaurants work isolated, plus they're distanced from the people in their restaurants. But this allows people to be in a bubble, and they're practicing social distancing, those kinds of things. They're in a bubble of safety. So you protect the worker. The least, absolutely least successful way of protecting yourself is to protect your personal equipment, and one of them is masks. So if you just rely on a mask, it's at the bottom. It's at the bottom here. But if you wear a mask and you wear the personal around your neck, we don't go anywhere without a mask, and the person around our neck, it's just like that hailstorm of ball bearings coming down and knocking everything out of the air. This is not us talking. This is the CDC ranking from the highest to the lowest. And when it comes to elimination, we are in the game ahead of anybody else. Now, what's the difference between what we're doing and what other technologies are doing? And this is genius about what Urso has done. And all of you that have your Air Service Pro, it's not a filter. There's no screen on the front. It's not an old-time purifier that relies heavily on filters. We're the next generation of technology, okay? So now we have the Air Service Pro. The filters can only remove what goes through it. So it sucks it in and it puts it back out, the particles. And there's a lot of particle sizes that it can't get. Unlike the passive filtration system, this technology literally just sends out an army of hydrogen peroxide, hydroxyls, and superoxides that have one absolute mission. And that mission is to destroy all of the things you're going to see the tests on that can harm our lungs or can infect us. That's a mission. We send it out into the environment, and it works immediately, and it doesn't require a capture or expose time. Capture is try to capture it through a filter. Expose time, it's got to be exposed to UV light, and no one quite has figured out yet how to exactly do that. They just know that if some virus goes under it or pathogen, it'll kill it, but you've got to get it under it. And it rapidly and continuously fills the room with virus, continually fills a room with virus neutralizing particles that instantly break viruses down to their component parts, rendering them harmless. You don't have to lecture people about this. All you have to do is educate people, because our science is what speaks for us. We're just educating people. Now, how does this work? Okay, this is the Acme Pure honeycomb cell here. And so this patented scientific process, the Active Pure cell, dispatches supercharged submicronic particles at tremendous speed, about 1,200 feet per second. Now just wrap your arms around this. That's a Brownian theory of motion. It's like if somebody burns something in the kitchen, you're at the back of the house, wherever, you can smell it. Somebody makes popcorn, you can smell it. Somebody walks in with perfume or cologne, you can smell it long before they're with you. And in your home, it's not like wind is blowing around there, or there's a flow of air. It's just how air moves that quick, okay? So what it does here, So what it does is that the particles are created by reaction by ambient water and oxygen that come into the unit right here, okay? And as they come out, they're patented matrix coding and scientific wavelength UVC light. They come through, and what they do is they leave they turn into harmless elements to us: hydrogen peroxide, hydroxyls, and superoxides. The best way to think of these three elements is the Terminator on a hoverboard, because when they come out at 1,200 feet per second, their only goal, the only thing that they do is that they're there to destroy and pulverize those things. So it comes into the unit, it comes out, and right here you can see their entire goal is to destroy and pulverize in the air and on surfaces SARS-CoV-2, right? And the other test I'm going to show you, to pulverize those things, take them out of the air and make it safe for us. Outdoors, when we're outdoors, and you've heard this, I know anyone's listening to any news has heard this, when you're outdoors on a really nice sunny day, that's when you're least